Good morning, everybody. Apologies for the slight delay getting started this morning. Just a massive good morning and a welcome to the 2026 Meet Your Future National Numeracy Day session. Today's session is going to be in partnership with KPMG, one of our trusted employees across the city region. And in today's session, we're going to be talking everything around financial and professional services sector here in Greater Manchester. We're going to talk to you about some of the key jobs across the city region, some of the key skills that you need to work in the sector. And we've got Demi and Lola today that will be joining us to support with more of that narrative around their apprenticeships and what their schemes look like internally. For those of you that I've not met before, so I'm Jake, I'm part of the Education Work and Skills team here at Greater Manchester Combined Authority. And you might be aware that Meet Your Future was launched in 2019 by Andy Burnham, who's the Mayor of Greater Manchester. And it's to give young people like yourself the chance to meet real employers and explore different career pathways from all across the city region. Some key labour market information to get us started. So we've got the average salary for this gateway or this sector even in Greater Manchester is £40,614. This will likely be lower when you're starting out, when you're in training or working part-time, but the average is around that £40,000 mark. Across Greater Manchester, there's about 193,000 jobs in this gateway. And three of the top jobs that are most in demand at the moment are a lawyer, a bookkeeper and an accountant. Today's session, like I mentioned already, so we're going to be joined by Demi McIntyre-Yates, who's a Corporate Responsibility Assistant Manager at KPMG. We're also going to be joined by Lola Gibson, who's a first-year audit apprentice at KPMG. I really hope this session inspires you and helps you feel more confident about thinking about your future here in Greater Manchester. Just some quick housekeeping. So there is a question box. I've popped a question in there already. If you've got anything for either myself, Demi or Lola today, please pop it in there and we'll try and get that answered for you as quick as we can. For any captions or any subtitles, if you just go to the sound settings, you should be able to enable those. Any issues, just please pop a question into the chat and we can have a look at that for you. But let's get straight into it. So Demi, I'm going to come straight over to you if that's okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm Demi and I'm an assistant manager in corporate responsibility. So working to help young people to develop their skills and ready for the workplace. So we'll just move on to the next slide. Just to the next one. Thank you. And to the next one. Thanks. So KPMG is regarded as a professional services firm. So when we talk about professional services, we usually mean non-physical products or services that individuals or companies provide to their customers. So our product at KPMG is our people, and we help businesses and individuals to kind of develop their business, solve specific problems, and achieve their desired outcomes. So at KPMG, we offer a wide range of these services. If you've heard of KPMG before, you may know it as an accounting firm. However, that isn't the case. We are professional services, which means we offer lots of different businesses. So that can be from audit, tax, law, advisory, technology, and KPMG business services, which I will explain a little bit more about on the next slides. So KPMG UK is one of the largest professional services firms in the UK. So like I said, we offer lots of different business services, including audit and advisory. The firm has 20 offices across the UK, so all the way from up in Aberdeen down to Plymouth. We also have an office in the centre of Manchester as well. And in the UK, we have 18,000 colleagues who work for KPMG. KPMG is also part of a global network, so we have around 273,000 colleagues who work across the world, and we operate in around 143 countries and territories. So we will just move on to the next slide. So KPMG is a multidisciplinary firm. Like I mentioned, we work across tax, advisory, audit, technology, law, and then we are supported by business services. So in terms of kind of what each of these business areas are, so for advisory, advisory teams make meaningful and positive difference for clients, but also for people and communities. Our colleagues support businesses to overcome some of the biggest challenges, as well as help them create a more sustainable future. So we will help our clients, for example, to buy and sell things, access funds, improve their overall financial situation and position, and help them to kind of join with other businesses as well, and essentially help them make the right decisions. Then we have audit. So audit is the largest of our practices here at KPMG. Put simply, it's about examining organisations and businesses and ensuring that their published accounts provide a true and fair view of their financial position. Basically, an audit is like an MOT for a car, but instead of a car, it's for a business. And it's critical for the everyday working of society. Audits, they really help build trust in the economy, and they can really help companies to grow as well. Then we have KPMG Business Services. So essentially this is kind of the engine that keeps the firm running. So we have areas such as people, market development, corporate affairs, for example, which is where I work in corporate responsibility, and that could be student recruitment, HR, also facilities as well. So we have a lot of people working in our offices who keep the general running of the office kind of day to day running smoothly. So there are some really important roles. It could be working in IT, and then corporate affairs as well, like marketing and communications. We also have KPMG Law. So this is a global legal network which are currently operating in 81 different countries, and we do have plans to expand on that. So that could be at KPMG working in family law, corporate law, lots of different areas if you are interested in a legal career. Then we also have tax. So tax impacts our lives and society in more ways than you'd imagine. So that means tax experts are helping solve some of the biggest challenges facing our country currently. So for companies that we support, we can handle international tax, could be deal advisory tax, but we also support individuals as well. So that could be private client advice, and supporting them with their employment taxes, for example, if they're running a business. Then finally, we have technology. So with our technology teams, their work spans all across the firm. It's basically the heart of what we do, and part of the KPMG DNA. But this could be tech strategy, risk management, data and analytics. Also, a big thing at KPMG is cybersecurity. So making sure that our clients' security systems are working effectively and that their data is protected. So lots of different routes and lots of different business areas at KPMG, if you are interested in the professional services industry. So we will just move on to the next slide. So at KPMG, we offer lots of different apprenticeship programs if you are interested in going down the apprenticeship route. So you'll get the opportunity to gain practical work experience and build your core skills, but you'll also be supported to achieve your professional qualifications and earn a salary at the same time. So in terms of kind of the apprenticeships that are available, so within audit, we have 2 apprenticeship programs. So this is audit and audit data and analytics. So on the audit program, you'll have rotations in the audit function over 5 years. So you'll complete the AAT level 3 and 4, and then the level 7 ACA qualification. And that means you will be qualified as a chartered accountant, essentially. On the 4-year audit and data analytics programme, you'll learn how to become an effective audit analyst. And on this programme, you will work towards a digital and technology solutions degree, which is a level 6. So if you are interested in obtaining a degree as part of your apprenticeship, then the audit data and analytics programme may be the most suitable for you. Then we have our tax apprenticeships. So with this, it's a 5-year programme. You'll complete the AAT level 3 and 4, and then the level 7 professional qualification, and that is equivalent to a master's degree. Then we have the technology apprenticeship. So as an apprentice, you'll explore the interaction between technical systems in the workplace, and then you'll look at how to use them effectively for maximum business output. Again, you'll work towards an honours degree in digital and technology solutions, which is a level 6. We have our business services apprenticeships. So this is 2 years long. So you'll be supported by KPMG teams. And this is kind of a rotational apprenticeship again, where you'll get the chance to operate in different areas of the business to see where you want to specialise. So that could be people, HR, kind of business management. So you'll really get the opportunity to explore different areas and see where your skills kind of lie and where your strengths lie. Then finally, we have our advisory apprenticeship. So we have consulting apprenticeship and consulting managed services apprenticeship. So consulting is 5 years long, where you'll complete the level 4 junior management consultant apprenticeship, and then you will do a qualification that is more suited to what you want to kind of specialise in. So that could be the ACA, CIPD, or another relevant professional qualification. And then the consulting manager services apprenticeship is 2 years, where you'll be working towards gaining a level 3 qualification in business administration. So this is all about developing core business skills, project management, business regulation, and personal development. Again, that will follow kind of a rotational basis where you can see what exactly you want to specialise in once you finish the apprenticeship. So lots of different options there, no matter kind of what business area you see yourself going into. Yeah, lots of different things for you to explore there. We will just move on to the next slide. So in terms of just a few kind of hints and tips, so when you do apply to KPMG, this may not be specific to all of the firms within professional services, but it's for KPMG. You won't be required to submit a CV or a long personal statement in order to apply. You will do a short application form, and once the team have reviewed that, you will then be invited to a series of kind of online assessments and an in-person kind of interview, so you won't be expected to provide a long CV. If you join us on an apprenticeship programme, you will start with a thorough induction. So that will prepare you for your role, and you'll get to meet lots of different apprentices as well. Obviously, it can be quite daunting starting, your career and going into the workplace, but you will be supported by lots of other apprentices who are in the exact same position as you. Also, we have lots of opportunities outside of London. So you remember on the first slide I mentioned we had 20 offices across the UK, including one in the centre of Manchester. So sometimes when you think about professional services and accounting, for example, you might think most of the opportunities are in London. That is not the case at KPMG. Also, no prior experience is required. We don't expect you to apply or come to KPMG with a wealth of work experience or technical knowledge. We look at the potential that you have and what you can achieve at KPMG. So please don't be put off if you haven't obtained any sort of work experience specific to audit, for example. You don't need to have studied maths or accounting, so we'll be speaking to Lola shortly about kind of what she studied, but you don't need to have studied maths, you don't need to have studied accounting in order to join KPMG. We have people who've done lots of different kind of qualifications to get here. And then finally, apprentices have the same progression outcomes as graduates. So as I mentioned before, kind of level 7, level 6, if you went to university and joined a graduate programme at KPMG, you will end on the same level 7 qualification that you did on the apprenticeship. So there's no difference in terms of where you'll end up. So if you are thinking of doing an apprenticeship, but you're worried about that, then there's absolutely no need to be. We will move on to the next slide just to talk about core skills. So to succeed in any industry, not just KPMG or in professional services, it's really important that you can demonstrate core skills. So the first two are communication. So it's really important to be able to listen carefully, ask good questions and explain your ideas clearly, because you will need to do that when you are working with clients and other businesses. Then we have creative problem solving. So a big part of what we offer at KPMG is advice for clients. So clients will come to you with challenges that don't necessarily have an obvious answer, and it's up to you to think creatively, think differently, and come up with practical solutions for the clients that we serve. Then we have self-management. So this is all about being adaptable, planning your time well, staying organised, especially, when you're working in an environment like this, you'll have lots of conflicting deadlines and balancing different tasks. So it's really important that you are able to manage that time effectively. And then finally, we have collaboration. So professional services is very rarely about working alone. You will be working with teams. It's really important that you can work well in a team, you can support others, and you can bring kind of different strengths together. So just overall, success isn't just about the technical knowledge or kind of experience that you have. It's about how you communicate, how you solve problems, and how you can work with others as well. So we will move on to the next slide. So obviously the theme of this session was numeracy, with it being National Numeracy Day. So I just wanted to provide a little bit more information on that. So National Numeracy Day this year is the 20th of May, and KPMG co-founded National Numeracy Day in 2018 to help combat low confidence in numeracy. So just a few kind of stats here. So poor numeracy can cost the UK £25 million every year. Good numeracy is linked with a range of positive financial behaviours, and then people with poor numeracy skills are more than twice as likely to face unemployment. So it's really important that you are able to feel confident when it comes to using numbers, which is what National Numeracy Day aims to achieve. So in terms of kind of the importance of numbers, we use maths in every aspect of our lives. So it's really important that you do have that confidence. It's not just about the workplace, it's about how you can, use numbers in your everyday life, and you use them in every aspect of your life as well. And this year's National Numeracy Day follows the theme Count on Your Community. So, if you do have anxiety or nervousness about maths, you're not alone. There's lots of people who are in that position. But National Numeracy Day aims to combat that, because we want young people to then grow into adults in the workplace who have good numeracy skills and are confident when using numbers. So we will just move on to the next slide. So this is just a little bit of an insight into how you might use numeracy at KPMG. So there's lots of different ways in which you'll do that. So firstly, understanding data and trends. So businesses make decisions using numbers every day. So that can be from profits and cost to a customer. It could be customer behaviour, or it could be analysing sustainability data, for example. You'll also use numbers to solve real world problems. So it's not just about, it's solving real, it's not just about kind of specific business problems. It can be about everyday problems, sustainability and people management, for example, and you will use numeracy throughout those. So it's about really being able to think logically and find the solutions. Communicating with confidence, so being comfortable with numbers helps you explain ideas clearly, and that can be to colleagues, clients, and also stakeholders. Confidence in numbers also helps you to make informed decisions as well. So this could be whether you're analysing risk or budgeting, for example. It can really help you to back up your answers based on evidence if you are confident using those stats and figures. Then we have using technology and AI effectively. So modern workplaces use data and AI constantly, and strong numeracy skills can really help you to interpret different outputs and spot errors within that. And then finally, we have basically numeracy is used across lots of different roles, pretty much every role that you will do at KPMG. So it's not just important in auditing, accounting, for example, but also consulting, technology, corporate affairs, and business management. So no matter what role you do at KPMG, it's really important that you have that confidence when using numbers. So that is everything from me. I'm now going to pass you over to Lola, who is an audit apprentice at KPMG. So over to you, Lola.
Thank you, Demi. Hiya. So I'm a first year audit apprentice at KPMG. I work at the Manchester office. So I'll just give you a little bit of background on me. So I studied history, triple science and fine art for my GCSEs, and I studied maths, film studies and fine art for my A-levels. So it's quite a mishmash of subjects. I was quite unsure of what I wanted to do after college. So I picked the things that spoke to me the most. I tried university after college. However, I sort of found that what I was learning wasn't very applicable to real life. So I studied maths, and it was a lot of imaginary numbers and vectors, and I couldn't see a real world correlation. So I did not continue with that. I tried a few roles in customer service. I was also not too keen on that. And I think what sort of drew me into KPMG was the real world application of like my numeracy skills. And so the second slide would be what made me write for KPMG. I would say that the first thing would be the grades I achieved in my GCSEs and A-levels. So even though they weren't particularly applicable to accounting, I still scored highly in them. So I think that reflected well and made me sort of stand out from maybe other participants, I'm not sure. Maybe some hobbies that also made me employable were coding. I like to code in my spare time, and I think that sort of demonstrates an analytical sort of mind, and maybe numeracy skills as well, as that's also involved in coding. The third thing I would say would be the skills I demonstrated during my interview. So there's a section where you have to complete maths. It's not A-level material, it's GCSE. It's like percentages and maybe interpreting some information from a graph. So as long as you're competent in your GCSE maths qualification, you should be fine with that. And I also had experiences to back up my numerical skills. So while I was at university, I would say that I participated in a Unilever maths project, and that sort of involved a lot of teamwork, and I had to analyse a lot of data, and I think that was quite applicable for this role. So I would just say that any experiences you get to work in a team, you should definitely take them, because they'll definitely make you stand out from everybody else. I'd get the next slide, please. So my role as an audit apprentice, I did quite a few things. I interpret trends in data. So we'll often have big spreadsheets, and we need to sort of collate all that information and put it into graphs to represent maybe month on month changes in, say, revenue or expenditure, and you have to interpret sort of why there might be dips in revenue, why expenditure might be high for certain months, just so there's no foul play going on and there's no, nobody lying about their profits. Another thing would be checking calculations. So if an entity, we just have to make sure that they've calculated everything correctly so that their financial statements are true and fair. So obviously you need numerical skills for that. Another thing would be ensuring compliance with regulations. So we have sort of ever evolving regulations for this job, as it should be, because it keeps everything true and it keeps everything up to date. So just making sure your reading skills are top notch, because there's so much to read. Meeting clients as well. That'd be it's really good to just be confident in your knowledge and your ability to solve problems so that you can meet those clients and have the sort of answers that they want. Another thing, a massive thing, is studying for exams. We have a lot of exams to complete. So I've just finished my level 3 AAT. So that was 2 exams and they were quite spaced out. We had a few months in between each one, but definitely a lot of self-study is required. So self-discipline is a must. Let's get the next slide, please. So my top tips for applying would be ensure you double check your answers on the online application, because there's a few maths questions and if I hadn't double checked, I would have gotten them wrong, probably. Like, it's always good to just double check. Ensure your ethics align with KPMG's ethical code. So KPMG has a very strong stance on ethics, and all its auditors and employees must uphold this so that we can be one of the most, respected financial services companies. Include examples of teamwork in your application. So maybe when you're in person, you can just mention in passing the times that you've worked in a team. There'll also be in the in-person section, there'll be a time where you have to work in a team. So if you have prior experience working in teams, you'll excel in this area. So another thing would be examples of when you use numeracy skills. So maybe budgeting your own money, or maybe making decisions based on statistics. So maybe investing, if you've ever decided to invest in something, not sure you can, but be clear as to why you would like to work at KPMG as well. That was something that I definitely should have thought about more before I applied, because I got to the in-person stage and I was sort of unsure of what my role would be. So definitely ensure that you know 100% what your role will be. And that's everything from me. Yeah. And so, yeah.
Amazing. Lola, thank you so much for your input there. Just a massive thank you to Demi and Lola for their contributions today. It's been great to have you on the call this morning, guys. Thank you so much. We've come to the end of today's session. So just the next couple of slides, please, Tyler. Just wanted to say a massive thank you for yourselves attending as well. I know you're all sat there in your classrooms, eager and keen to find out more about the financial and professional services sector, and you can do that through GMAX. So GMAX is the Greater Manchester Apprenticeship and Career Service website. It's been designed to help you plan your future. It's packed full of tips, tricks. It's got loads of information. It'll have resources from today's session on there as well, and you'll have the Beeline tool on there as well. So the next slide, please. So Beeline is a digital tool that's been developed on GMAX, and it's to show you what that linear journey or that non-linear journey can look like for you as a young person. So where you sat in the classroom right now, what types of skills, what types of qualifications may you want to start picking up and following in order to get into your desired sort of end goal, and it's to really highlight where high quality jobs are around in the city region. That is everything from me today. So if you do want to find out more information around more sessions coming up in the future, you want to go and review some sessions that have happened previously, drop us a follow on Instagram. We've got a YouTube page on there as well where you can listen to me waffling on about all sorts of other different stuff as well. But have a fantastic day, and we will see you all on the next session. Cheers.